Welcome to our Vendée Globe Live. It's day number 53 on the race course. We're still thinking that the first boats will be back here in Les Sables d'Olonne in less than 2 weeks' time. The leaders are pointing north now, starting to get into the light trade winds. Charlie Dallin still on top. Meantime, a little bit further back, Thomas Rion and Paul May are starting to get into better conditions, getting round the top of the low pressure system there. And otherwise, pretty tough conditions for Roman Atanasio and Damien Seguin coming into Cape Horn at the moment. Last night's news, though, sent a shiver down our spines and everybody watching the race. And of course, for the skippers who are in the exact area, ice has been spotted, and all the skippers have been receiving accurate updates. But this was our ice update yesterday.
Oh my God. Iceberg. Holy shit. I'm shivering, and not only because of the cold, but because right over there, that's what I've been looking for. Oh my God. It's a freaking massive iceberg. Well, it feels massive when you know that if you hit anything out here, it's game over.
Oh la vache, la nuit commence fort, hein. La nuit commence fort. Vous le voyez, je pense derrière, elle est là. J'y allais plein dessus. L'alarme du radar qui se met en route. Ah, je suis sorti, je l'ai vu tout de suite. Putain, c'est impressionnant. Il est gros comme un cargo, j'imagine. Peut-être 100 mètres de long. Je me rappelle, la coque de mon bateau, elle fait 3,6 mm d'épaisseur. Je peux pas me permettre de taper ça. Oh, les émotions, putain. Allez, je vais prévenir tout le monde.
So some dramatic, emotional moments for the skippers, as I say, though the ice is monitored all the time by our partners at CLS, so there are warnings have been issued to the sailors for the last few days, but still, I say, pretty challenging to see the ice so up close and personal. Meantime, my guest today will have Seb Col, who's the relatively new team manager for Holcim-PRB. Seb is, of course, an ex-match racer and a mocker racer, won the Transact Jacques Vabre back in 2015 with Vincent Rioux in the PRB colours. He's a relatively new appointment as a team manager for Holcim-PRB since August, and he goes forward into the ocean race as a team manager. In the studio here we have Pierre Le Roy, he is a meteorologist, an expert in the weather. He also is a sailor who won the 2019 Mini Transat, and he's co-skipper to Benjamin Ferry on the last TJV, and he's a 2028 Vendée candidate.
Yes, exactly.
How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me.
But I'm going to start with Seb. Seb, first of all, tell us about this job you have as team manager.
Hi Andy, hi Pierre, hi everyone. Yeah, that's pretty new for me. I was having a bit of experience from Mer Concept or the small experience from the America's Cup team the last years, and moving on to be a team manager is a bit of a new job for me, and especially with Holcim now, we are working on changing a bit the culture of the team, shifting the team from a 100% French team to a more international team, looking at next ocean race. And yeah, it has been a very nice journey for now, and really looking forward for the next steps.
What have you brought to the programme in the initial steps, I say, into this race? Was it very much a team which was well set up by then, presumably?
Yeah, I mean the team was pretty good already when I jumped in. It was more about decision-making process regarding approaching the Vendée Globe, really focusing on reliability of the boat. It's first Vendée Globe for Nico, and with Holcim and PRB, we already won. I mean, PRB already won twice the Vendée Globe, but the last 3 editions, the boats did not finish. So it was really about refining the process, the decision process around reliability of the boat to make sure we have a good and reliable boat for Nico. And then for Holcim, it's more for the future, working on to changing a bit the culture of the team and moving more onto a more international team, more diverse team, and yeah, doing both at the same time, like working for the Vendée Globe and following Nico, and also changing the culture of the team is quite of a challenge.
In a few words, tell us who Holcim are and what do Holcim do?
Well, Holcim is a big building company. They are leader in the world. I think second leader in the world, yeah, in concrete stuff. So they are building big infrastructures, buildings, bridges, stadium, and also harbor infrastructures. And but they are also very looking at making their impact, carbon impact, lower in the near future. So we are with the team trying to show the brand Go Circular, because Holcim is trying to and is actually building buildings with recycled concrete, and we are trying to show that and to promote that new things from Holcim.
So a big global company. We'll go to Pierre now. Pierre, tell us a bit about you're trying to get into the 2028 race. What have you learned from this race so far that you can take forward?
Quite a lot, because apart from watching the race as everybody, I was working with Benjamin Ferret for the last 2 years. I had different roles like coast-keeper, boat captain, team manager sometimes. So it's been quite a good education, as I could say, to learn how to manage this kind of big project. So the idea was to feel ready in terms of navigation, sailing, but also as a project manager, to be able to handle my own project for the next 4 years to get the start.
So where are you in terms of your project? You're looking for money, presumably?
Yes, as everybody, but all the rest is done. I mean, I've got my team, I got my team manager, I'm working with a close friend who is really good on making companies work well financially with the people as well. So he handled that part, I handle the part, sports part, sailing part, and we're working very good together. So everything is ready. We're ready to buy a boat. We're ready to launch our campaign. The last bit, it's quite a big...
It's the difficult bit.
It's the difficult bit, is to find the sponsorship. But otherwise, everything is ready, and we're very enthusiastic about starting sailing and getting the boat.
What level do you see yourself operating at? You know,
I think I will do as I did when I was doing the mini transat. I'll start with a reliable boat, a boat which has done at least 1 or 2 Vendée Globe, a foiling boat, and to do a first Vendée Globe, to finish the first Vendée Globe, but to be very competitive with to manage to exploit 100% of this boat, and then probably move on to a faster boat. But we'll take one step at a time. First, it was important for me to be able to see from the inside how is it to manage this kind of project, what I did for the last 2 years. Then having my own project for the first Vendée Globe with a simple boat. I mean, an IMOCA is kind of a complicated boat, but an old boat, an old fowler, which has done the race already once or twice, and then maybe we'll move on to another one.
So do you have your eyes on a particular boat? Which would be your perfect boat within reason?
The good range of boat, the boat has been built between 2015 and 2019, something like that. So a foiler which has, between 1 or 2 Vendée Globe already.
Tell me just in a few words, what do you think of the battle between Charlie and Johan?
It's really interesting. It's very intense. I'm always surprised that after so many time, such a long route, they're still so close. So it's quite amazing. And they are both sailing at a very, very high level.
Very high level.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I think it's very hard to feel the intensity of the battle. I mean, I'm pretty sure that when they shut down the cameras inside the boat,
absolutely,
they are completely 100, maybe more than that, 200% on the race, on making the boat go fast, and to be sure that they're gonna gain some miles on their opponent.
They're both so very different. Now, we caught up with Johan Richomme, who's caught up some miles behind Charlie Dallin, and he was pretty positive when we caught up with him earlier on today. Hello, Johan, how are you?
I'm doing well. Champagne sailing.
Is it? Tell us more.
Tell you more. An absolutely magnificent sunrise behind the island of Trinidad, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things I've seen. So I had a nice night on port tack all the way to Trinidad with a nice big lift and some pressure, which allowed me to gain some miles on Charlie easily, and to sleep as well, which was nice because I was really in deficit. And I've now put in a tack and I'm heading north. I'm coming to see you, and I'm in the trade winds, or nearly in the trade winds, pretty much in the ridge of the Saint Helena High, and coming into the trade winds soon. So it's going to be a nice long north reach all the way to the latitude of the Canary Islands, where we are going to transition into a high pressure zone. I'm happy to have gained some miles. We'll see how it's going to be more realistic on the next sked, because we're going to be in line, but he might be like 40-50 miles ahead or something. And you know, to have cut down the lead a little bit is nice. I didn't expect that, so I'm gonna work my ass off now to maintain a small margin and see, you know, trying to seek the opportunity when I get it before the finish. But you know, obviously it's going to be a long battle with him.
Exactly, and as we keep saying in the Vendée Globe, every day is a school day.
Well, it certainly is. Yeah. We do learn a lot. We learn a lot about the boat, about ourselves a little bit, and how to sail, you know, around the world, and the weather patterns, and even the technology and stuff. There's plenty of things that come into play, and yeah, that's what makes it interesting. That's for sure.
On that point, what's the most interesting thing that you found about yourself?
That I might end up liking it a little bit. No, it depends on the day, of course. When I'm tired and stuff, I hate it. I just want to be home.
Yeah.
But it is one hell of a trip. I'm amazed at how you can have an easy race, which is what I think I've had, and how hard it can be for some of the others. Like I looked at the map, they're going upwind in 25 knots. And you know, with a bit of a bit of distance in between boats, you can live really different round the world races. So
Johan Richomme reflecting and saying that he perhaps has had quite an easy race compared to the group behind. We're joining Nico Lunven, who is in the heart of it. Just finished attack, I think, Nico.
Yes. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How's your heart rate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just, you are right. I'm just finished attack to play a wind shift to try to gain north. The next.
I think we just lost Nico, hopefully only for a few seconds. But Pierre, I mean, Johan makes it look easy, as you say. So I think there's an element of when he's on camera, there's one persona, and when he's off camera, it's a completely different thing. But and also you can see Nico really having a tough time in these conditions in the South Atlantic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they all have a communication device, so they all can watch, if they want to, the others' videos. So they want to look good. Nico
I
is.
think we've got Nico back. We'll come back to you in just a few
Yeah,
seconds.
sure.
Nico, sorry, we lost you there for a second, but it's pretty tough conditions for you guys going upwind.
Yes, in the next couple of hours. For now, it's okay. We have 20-25 knots of wind, but in the next couple of hours, during the night, it will be more 30-35 knots with thunderstorms.
And how are you feeling?
Well, I would prefer to sail in the trade wind with 15 knots of wind on flat sea state, sailing upwind against the wave on the wind, but it's like that. Then in 24 hours, it will be probably much more better for us.
And what's your strategy been in this phase in terms of positioning?
Can you repeat, please?
I'm just asking what your strategy has been in terms of where you've positioned yourself.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because
I think we've lost him again. Yeah, sorry, we've lost Nico there, but we're talking about the strategy in this particular phase in the South Atlantic. It's been pretty tough for these guys.
It's good to keep
He's
the
back,
level
sorry.
quite high.
And Nico, what do you feel you learned during the ocean race that you've been able to apply to this race? Any particular phases?
Yeah, of course, during the ocean race, I learned a lot of things. For example, could be the intensity in the Southern Ocean. Also, lots of weather strategic things, especially here in this area, because to me, the South Atlantic part on the way back is probably about a strategy on weather. It could be the worst part of that race because the weather is quite unpredictable. You are sailing upwind. Reality of the forecast is not so high. So it's quite hard to find your way. You can have light wind area, and also you can have some very strong wind. I remember last year during the ocean race, the worst part of the whole race was just after the Cape Horn, from Cape Horn to Itaja. It was almost a nightmare. It was lots of difficult part of the race. This year is a bit different, but not easy. Not easy to find the right way.
Listen, Nico, you're doing a fantastic job. We're going to connect you very briefly with Seb Col, your team manager. Seb, have a quick hello. Obviously, the connection is not that great.
Hi, Nico. How are you doing?
Yes, hello, Seb.
Can you hear us?
I feel good. It's good to... Yeah, I hear you. It's good to sail north. Almost heading to home. It's a bit far away. Today it's sunny. Right now it's sunny. It's getting warmer and warmer. So things are getting in the right way.
Okay, cool. And I just like from you to come back to when you run Cape Horn, and I just would like to know what was your feeling, passing Cape Horn on a solo 100 boat, and what was the feeling there? And I know you passed far away from Cape Horn, but I'm sure there was something special for you this moment.
Yeah, so exactly on the Cape Horn. A bit.
No, I think we've definitely unfortunately lost Nico. Is obviously in the heat of battle and just finishing attack. But Seb, give us your response to Nico's race so far. I mean, I think he's possibly going into the phase where he'll be strongest.
Yeah, I mean, Nico obviously is a very good navigator and a weather expert too, as Pierre is. And yeah, he loves this strategical game. So yeah, we see that Paul Meya gamble a little bit on the left side of the course, like closer from South America, closer from the coast, and and gain quite a significant lead at this stage of the race regarding Nico. But yeah, it's still a long way. When the boat came on, as a team manager and as a technical team, I would say we are like a little bit less stressed because we know we are not too far from the coast anymore if something happened on the boat. But for the sailors, for the skippers, it's still a long way to go, and it's not, as Nico said, an easy part. But we are really looking forward with Nico. He's doing a great job so far, and he's really sailing the boat well. It's not an easy boat to sail single-handed. It's less comfortable than the boat from Charlie Dalin or Johan Richomme, which are the latest generation boats. So it's one of harder boats. Nico is sailing one of the harder boats to sail, the same kind of boat as Paul or Sam Goodchild. Very low on the water. It's very wet on board. So he's doing a great job so far. So we are really proud of him.
Thanks, Seb. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you back here in Les Sables d'Olonne when Nico comes in.
Yeah, sure. I will pass by.
All the best. Thank you, Seb. So, Pierre, what do you think the key phase of this race will be for the leaders? How important is this phase?
For the remaining part of the race, there's still the doldrums. It could be quite stressful for them, because if you get stuck behind a squall, you can lose quite a big amount of miles. But except these doldrums, it's kind of a classic tactical battle in the Northern Atlantic. Be at the right position around the lows on the high pressure system, and they know it very well. So I'm not sure there is one particular phrase, but it will be just, the competition is very, very high level, so it's gonna be decided on just few details. If you tack a little bit later, a little bit earlier, and this will be enough to create, enough space for the leader, for the future winner, I think.
We've seen quite a number of duels at the front of the Vendée Globe in previous editions. How do you characterize this one in particular? It's much closer and a higher level, you would say.
The boats are going faster than the last Vendée Globe, but in terms of intensity, it's always the same. It's one of the biggest, maybe the biggest race for the skippers, and it's the last phase of the race. They are still very, very close. So, the intensity of the battle is the same, but the boats are a bit more tiring. So, the skipper might be a little bit more tired. So, maybe it's going to be. They're going to feel a bit more exhausted by the end of the race.
I'm pretty sure they will be. So let's go into our weather, looking with some nice images of dolphins that Clarice Kramer sent us. And just a reminder that it's not all super intense racing. Get these beautiful moments, as indeed Johan showed us from Praprek Arkea, and these beautiful moments with the albatross and dolphins as we go into today's weather. So Thursday's weather, starting off looking at the front of the fleet, Charlie Dalin and Johan Richomme starting to get into the early part of the southeasterly trades. They are here just on the top, or getting towards the top of the high pressure system, and the southeasterly trades really will build gradually for them. Meantime, although in terms of latitude, Sébastien Simon is quite close, but he's got a long way to come out to the east to get to the southeasterly trades. Thomas Rion getting towards the top of the low pressure system and getting into the better breezes shortly. And then let's watch the group behind. But first of all, looking at the leaders coming out, say, off the top of the high pressure system, and they should get up to the, progressively, we know they're getting into the southeasterly trades, which will build as they go north on a more direct northerly course. And there we see Sébastien Simon having to come out to the east to find the same trade winds. And then all the time, Thomas Rion as I say, getting into the stronger downwind conditions along with the boats behind, but he's certainly maintaining his advantage, and that's the situation for the leaders, or certainly the top half of the fleet. Now then, looking at the situation for Clarisse Kramer, Benjamin Dutroux and Sam. Sam is going to take, I think, a more westerly option. Meantime, certainly Clarisse going to the east of the Falklands, but they've got a difficult situation. They have this high pressure zone here which is dominating, and all the time, as we've seen before, this exclusion zone here to their east really will compress them in terms of where they can go. And let's play it forward at the moment. So potentially Clarisse going to the east, and Sam and Benjamin going to the west, but really just trying to work the run line. And as we just had the Damien and Roman Attanasio coming around, they had 30, 35 knots coming into Cape Horn. It should improve for them as they get round. And then looking further back in the fleet, well, stronger or decent northwesterly conditions here, and then further back we're still in the rotation, or the south westerly breezes under the on top of the low pressure, so good conditions for them. Meantime, Benjamin Ferry in front of the daggerboard boats, or this part of the daggerboard boats, he's got moderate conditions and coming down. Isabel Josh here and John Le Cam approaching Cape Horn, and all the time compressing into these boats potentially. So a good situation for Jean Le Cam, who really has had a pretty good Pacific. So quite interesting at in the South Atlantic round Cape Horn, particularly for Benjamin. Some opportunities there for him.
I mean, for Benjamin, it's pretty. Benjamin Ferry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For Benjamin, it's pretty straightforward to Cape Horn now. He's going to sail downwind. He has few jibes to adjust which moment he wants to jibe. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward to the Cape Horn. And as the other competitors, it's going to be more tricky going up north after Cape Horn, where the weather is a bit more unsettled and unstable.
Tell us a bit more about Benjamin, because he came to the whole sport or the whole discipline quite late, didn't he?
Yeah, his profile is more like an adventurer. He did something like rounding the globe, hitchhiking, for instance. But he got into offshore sailing with quite a big competitive attitude, even though he doesn't speak about it like this, but being his coast keeper for the last 2 years now, and I know him very well. When he's into the race, he's very competitive, and he wants the boat to be ready for racing, not only rounding the globe. I mean, but he does it with a very good enthusiasm. So
good humor, isn't he?
Yeah, always, all the time. It's very fun to sail with him, actually.
I can imagine. Anyway, Sam Goodchild is going quite well in this group. He's holding his own relative to Boris Herrmann and trying to catch the group just in front. We caught up with Sam by audio earlier on today.
The boat is okay. I mean, it's not the most comfortable conditions. There's a bit of slamming in waves. It's not too bad, but it's not very comfortable, and the wind is less and less stable as we go along. Actually, to begin with, it was fairly stable, and now it's getting less and less stable, which takes quite a bit of management between the squall clouds, trying to keep the boat going in the right direction between tacking and sail trim. It's it's quite tiring. Yeah, the boat is definitely starting to feel a little bit tired. There's kind of creaks and crones coming from a few places and a few things to keep on top of, but on a whole, we're still in good shape. So you can't complain, and yeah, life on board is it's not that easy. There's the physical side of it is just with the slamming, it's quite difficult to find somewhere comfortable on board, and then with the strategy calls, it's not a very easy strategy situation at the moment with a low that's evolving around us, and basically no clear preferred option really between going east and having quite strong winds, going west and having no winds and probably some storm clouds, and then trying to go through the middle of this low that's building. There's none of those options appeal to me that much, but they're the only ones that exist, so we need to try and find the best one. So yeah, a South Atlantic that's proving not to be simple, but it's kind of as it is quite regularly, I think, down here. It's with the cold water coming from the south, the warm water coming from the north, and the Andes not too far away. It's yeah, it's an area where the weather is dynamic, we'll say. Paul, I mean, there's not a lot to say. He did a good job. He committed early to a strategy and went all the way into it, and it paid off for him, so good on him. I was hesitant on that because I thought there would be a bit more impact by storm clouds in the front, but he, I mean, he played it perfectly, so not a lot to say. There's maybe a little bit of boat speed. I think Holcim and Charal are two very quick boats upwind, so trying to keep up with them is not easy, but I'm hanging in there. There's this big low forming, and trying to find the right way around it there is no really kind of agreeable option or preferred option between going through the middle of it, going around to the east of it where there's lots of wind, and going around to the west of it where there's no wind and probably some storm clouds, some charged up storm cells. It's yeah, it's looking at the moment like we end up trying to go through the middle of it. But yeah, it's a fairly quick evolving situation down here, so.
So that's Sam Goodchild giving us a real good insight into the regime at the moment in the South Atlantic. Now, let's look at the rankings with some nice images from Benjamin Ferry, who clearly has a good eye for a picture. In the midday rankings showing still that compression with Johan Richomme coming into the leader Charlie Dallin for the meantime, but that we think that Charlie should extend away a little bit, but let's see. So Charlie is 25 miles or 25.7 miles ahead of Johan Richomme. Sébastien Simon very much the same as yesterday, round about 300 miles behind the leaders, but we expect that to expand certainly over the next 24 hours. Thomas Riong still much the same distance behind the leaders. Paul Mea now pretty much 100 miles ahead of Nico Lunven. Nico Lunven and Jeremy Bio still relatively close, about 31 miles between them. I think Sam Goodchild correspondingly being quite happy to be about 30 odd miles behind Jeremy Biu at this stage in the race, and still only 5 miles between Sam and Boris, Justine Metro in 10th. Sam Davis around Cape Horn in the 13th place just now. Other internationals, Alan Rura in 17th, Isabel Joshkin 18th, and Giancarlo Pedotti all together 17th, 18th, 19th, quite close together. Kojiro Shiraishi in 26th, Conrad Coleman 29th, Oliver here very much in splendid isolation on his own, but in 30th, sailing a good steady race. Jinkun Chu up to 32nd. He's not far behind Antoine Cornic now, and Denny van Weenberg, as ever, 35th, but super happy. Indeed. So, Pierre, thank you very much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on the start line, hopefully in 2028. Who's going to win? Who do you think? Between Charlie and Johan, or do you think there's anyone else can come in?
I'm not going to tell. I just can say that I've already worked with Charlie in the past, so might have a favorite, but I'm not going to bet on either.
You're not going to jinx him?
No, I don't want to.
Anyway, that's all we have time for today on the Vendée Globe Live show. My guest tomorrow will be Scott Scheuer, the Canadian who has a programme going forward to 2028 Vendée Globe with the 2004 sailor Nick Maloney, who's his programme manager. So join us then. In the meantime, let's leave with Seb Simon, who's been to the top of his mast, fixing his VHF aerial and also his wind indicator. This is Seb. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ah, je suis en haut du mât. J'ai changé en aérien l'antenne VHF pour récupérer la IS. Je profite de ces conditions. Croyez-moi, c'est pas une partie de plaisir. J'avais vraiment pas envie d'y aller. Et là, surtout, j'ai hâte de descendre. Voilà, moi qui ai un peu le vertige. J'aime pas du tout ça. Voilà, petite vue, le bateau. Allez, ça suffit, hein. On rentre à la maison, hein.